So Google just released Nano Banana and it is a game changer, but it'll only be a game changer if you know how to use it. Luckily for you, I did the hard part and have been in the trenches to find out what the best, most powerful use cases are for it. These are use cases that I've already started personally implementing into my own business and the results have been amazing. So in this video, I'm sharing 25 use cases for Nano Banana that will drastically change how you work, save you hours every week, and let you create things that were previously impossible. By the way, I'm Austin, and the reason I'm sharing all of this is because a little over 2 years ago, I used AI strategies like these to quit my job at JP Morgan and become the COO of a tech startup that just raised about $18 million. And I want to show you exactly how you can do the same. But more on that later because I need to share the first use case with you. Use case number 1, turn your rough sketches into polished ideas. Nano Banana can take your rough ideas and then generate professional looking logos, app mockups, product design. It's pretty wild. And normally you'd have to hire a designer, explain your vision, go back and forth with revisions, which would cost you time and money. But now you can prototype and iterate on concepts in seconds. Here's exactly how you can do it. For all of these use cases, go to aistudio.google.com and then make sure that Nano Banana is selected. Then upload your sketch to Nano Banana and you can prompt it something like, make this a polished logo for a tech startup or turn this into wireframe. The AI will then interpret your sketch and then give you designs or logos or mockups, whatever you prompt it for. You can see this happening here with this Phoenix drawing, and then a whole app design is generated. For all the use cases we go through, the speed at which Nano Banana produces these results really makes an impact, and that'll be clear as we go through the use cases. But just from the sketch, we get this whole Phoenix dashboard. Pretty impressive. Use case number 2 is you can enhance portraits and profile pictures. You can take photos and then make LinkedIn-worthy professional headshots in seconds. And I actually just did this for my girlfriend who's starting her own business. We had a photo of her in a bedroom and we wanted to change the background to a pediatric speech office. We then realized that the photo itself, this looked a little unprofessional, so we just make it more soft and a neutral background like a headshot. And just like that, a photo was created that she can then put on her website, LinkedIn, and it took seconds. The massive game changer here is that the person doesn't look different at all when doing this. This is something that before Banana was essentially impossible. Use case number 3 is you can preview interior design before doing anything. Before you drop hundreds on curtains, furniture, or paint that room that might look terrible at the end, you can preview everything with Nano Banana. And I personally have done this in my apartment before painting a wall. In practice, here's how this can look. You upload a photo of your room and then you say, what would it look like with salmon walls? What about with a bookshelf on the left? What about if there was a couch underneath the window? What about if there was a Persian rug in the room? You get the idea. You're able to design rooms without actually putting or doing anything, which makes the ideation process so much better. And now you can save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on specific design decisions. That's one of those use cases that you just have to do. It's not negotiable. Use case number 4, this is a fun one. Create unlimited meme templates. You can turn any photo into a meme template now, and you don't even have to think of the caption. Here's how I did it. I took a screenshot of one of my YouTube videos, and I thought it was a good frame. I said, overlay meme text on this with a caption you think's funny and relates to the image. And the final product is what I think is actually a pretty good meme, me explaining the entire internet to my grandma. You can imagine the fun that you and your friends can have with this, but it also unlocks something crazy that's part of this next use case. Use case number 5 is build custom apps and you don't need any engineers. This one blew my mind. So you can now build apps using Nano Banana without writing a single line of code. Think about using this tool to create custom filters, ad generators, or simple tools for your business. I'm gonna make an app in real time. So go to aistudio.google.com/apps. You hit the build tab and then you can describe the exact app you want. The AI will then scaffold the entire app for you and implement Nano Banana directly. So in this case, I want to make a meme generator where I upload a photo and then it creates a meme for that. I hit enter, it runs it, it does its thing. I upload a photo and professional streamer, emotional support hoodie. Sure, the text could use a little bit of improvement. This is one-shotted and that's a great meme, honestly. And that is my emotional support hoodie. Now, here's why this is one of my favorite use cases. When new technology comes out, it changes what's possible to build. It opens up a whole new category. So think of how mobile apps made it possible for something like Uber to be built. Before mobile apps, you couldn't build Uber. And what Nano Banana has done is open the door for new apps to be built. Another thing that I love is you can actually just see other apps for inspiration, things that you can use immediately. You just click it, you can then use the app. Like here's an app called Past Forward that generates images of you in different time periods. Wait, Look at these things. Yo, this is so epic. Honestly, this guy. There's so many possibilities here, and we're only on the 5th use case. Let's go to use case number 6. You can now visualize startup ideas and prototypes. If you've ever tried to explain a product, you know how hard it is to get them to visualize what you're building. Nano Banana solves this because it can create realistic lifestyle photos of your product before it even exists. And one thing I always tell my team is show, don't tell. And now you can do that in seconds. So I had this idea where I wanted to create an idea light bulb, like the light bulb that went off in your head. So I prompted Banana to create a trendy lamp for me and have it sit on a desk just to see what this product could look like in practice. The final output, it shows idea on the light itself, kind of fresh. Think about all the ideas that you have in your head, and now you can visualize them almost immediately and be like, oh, that's worth pursuing, or maybe it isn't. Which brings us to use case number 7. Place your product into any scene. This is incredible for e-commerce and marketing. You can seamlessly insert your product into really any environment, whether it's coffee tables, people's hands, store displays, you name it. And the reason this matters is because product placement photography usually costs a lot of money to do. And if you want to do something like a professional lifestyle photo shoot, that's also very expensive. Now with Nano Banana, this costs you pennies to create these images. The process is dead simple. You can upload a photo for your scene and a photo of your product. It'll then combine them into a final product that seamlessly integrates your product. For example, you can have Sam Altman wearing a specific shirt doing gymnastics. Take your product, take a person, take an activity, and blend them together. If your brain is anything like mine, the ideas are probably spinning right now. It really is exciting. Number 8 is you can create Mr. Beast level thumbnails. If you're creating content, specifically YouTube, you know thumbnails are everything. A bad thumbnail can kill a great video, but a good thumbnail designer costs a lot of money. So let's use Nano Banana to help us create a Mr. Beast level thumbnail. What I do is I upload a photo of me as well as a thumbnail from Mr. Beast. I then say create a version of a Mr. Beast thumbnail using my face, and voila, it creates this Mr. Beast style thumbnail. Now this is just one way to use it, but you can imagine the different styles. And if you're wondering how I created the thumbnail for this video, yes, we can thank the banana. Use case number 9 is reimagining photos in new styles. I don't know if there's many Swiftie fans in my audience, but here's a photo that you can transform into different aesthetics. Turn regular Photoshop into Pixar style, cyberpunk, or vintage film. It's really easy, just upload, you say reimagine this to a Pixar animation or cyberpunk, really whatever you want. Now this specifically can be done in some other models, but here's where Nano Banana really unlocks business value. Previously, when you would bring in images, other AI models would often alter them or tweak them a little bit. So for these drastic changes, it was fine because they're supposed to look different. But in reality, when you're creating photos for brand, you want consistency. But now using Nano Banana, you can make sure that every photo is uniform in the way that it looks. Let's say you have a specific style and you had somebody else take a photo, you can use Nano Banana to convert that to the exact style you want. Which brings us to use case number 10, which is all about consistent character content. Now I touched on it on the last one, but Nano Banana being able to create the same character across multiple images is very, very important. This is because you can create campaigns that look and feel like they're actual photos. How you can do this is you upload your base image and then prompt it, place this in this location or put it in a space setting. The value here is, as a brand, it's often hard to get the exact photos in the exact locations you want. For example, at IYK, the tech startup I'm the COO for, we have a disc that has become pretty iconic. And when we work like artists like Ed Sheeran or Chance the Rapper, we can't always get access to the venue, or it's an international show, so it's hard for someone from our team to be there. But we can still capture images of the photo at these specific venues, even if we're not there. Here you can see I bring in a photo of the disc and I say the blank IYK disc, relocate it to a VIP area overlooking an Ed Sheeran concert. Pretty awesome result. Then I can have it at like a merch booth at a Chance the Rapper concert. The power here is really incredible. It may seem simple, and I'll dive into it later, but this trend is actually destroying Photoshop. First, let's get to use case number 11, which is in the physical product realm. It's all about visualizing product packaging before manufacturing. As someone who handles physical products, it takes a lot of time to go through sampling, iterations, and it's expensive. End of the day, it's hard to imagine what the final product will actually look like in practice. So what you can do is you can actually bring in your branding or your product and then ask it to put it on the shelves in a product like Target or a grocery store. This way you see a photorealistic preview of what's actually going to happen. And this can save you thousands of dollars during the design process. And the ability to test and visualize things is really important, which brings us to the next couple of use cases, which are massive unlocks. Use case 12 is all about auto-generating A/B variations of a specific landing page. Your landing page is your digital storefront, and testing variations usually requires developers, designers, and time. Now you can use Nano Banana to do it in seconds. For example, my free 5-day email series with my newsletter, what it is, I took a screenshot of my landing page and then I said, alter it so it converts better. It analyzes the text, it analyzes the visual, and then it makes an adjusted landing page, which looks pretty good. And not only that, it goes into what it did and why it did it. It's sort of like having an expert consultant and designer review your website and make adjustments for free in seconds. You can now iterate, bring in competitors, see what things look like before actually making the change. Iterating and testing, that is the theme, which brings us to use case number 13, which is all about making multiple ad concepts quickly and effectively. You can now generate ad variations in minutes instead of hours, and it costs nothing. What I like doing here is going to facebook.com/ad/library and looking up brands that you like or appreciate, and you can see the ads that they're currently running. For example, Hims, I can see all the different ads they have running. Generally speaking, the longer an ad has been running, the more effective it is. They wouldn't spend money on something if it wasn't making them money. Then you can take those ads, bring in your photo of your specific product, and create variations. Do this 5, 10 different times with 10 different ad styles that have been proven, and you have ads that you can test that are already proven in the market that you were able to make quickly within minutes. Here are a couple other examples where you have a product shot with your photo, bring your photo in, and now it has a different color styling. You can remove a product and add yours, all changing existing ads for your own product, creating different variations so that you can quickly test for a specific audience. Which brings us to our next use case. Use case number 14, personalize ads for each customer segment. Instead of one generic ad for each audience, you can create variations for luxury buyers, budget-conscious people, Gen Zers, hardcore gamers, all for the same actual product. Go to Nano Banana, bring in a product, and say, create ad for eco-conscious millennials. It'll then generate a specific variation for this audience. You can imagine this doing it across every different audience segment and targeting those people with that ad. AI is powering customization. This is a theme that you're going to see across the entire world and the entire tech industry. I couldn't be more confident in that because these things weren't previously feasible, and they are just more effective forms of marketing. And effective markets for specific people is critical, but the same can be said for specific markets, which is why use case 15 is all about localizing ads for global markets. Let's say you have your winning ad and you want to adapt it for Tokyo, London, or Sao Paulo with culturally appropriate aesthetics and languages. You can upload your base ad and then prompt localize this for a Tokyo subway ad in Japan, or adapt it for the London Underground with British cultural elements. You can now test international markets without a massive upfront investment. The results are crazy and the impact is going to be wild. And before we dive into the next 10 use cases, which in my opinion are some of the more creative ones, I couldn't help but think that massive industries are going to get replaced because of this technology. And unfortunately, that's the truth. And it just keeps getting better. But when one door closes, another door opens, which is why I put together a free 5-day email course about making yourself irreplaceable with AI. If you click the first link in the description, I walk through the 5 unique traps I see most people fall into when they think about AI replacing them, and give an AI mastery playbook on how you can become irreplaceable. Again, it is 100% free, but if you're anything like me and learn best from daily bite-sized lessons that you can implement immediately, you'll be very glad you signed up. Now let's dive into use case number 16. Generate personalized fan or community content. Something I learned when I grew my first community to over 3,000 active members is you want people who are part of the community to feel special. It's that simple. And to do this, there's a lot of options. When I was doing it, I hand wrote letters and sent them to our most active members. But there are much easier things to do now that we have Banana. For each of your community members, what you can do is bring in different images for things that they like, community photos, branding, etc., and then generate a single photo that they can use to flex. So here's an example. It brings in 13 different images and generates a single aesthetic photo combining all of them. Imagine doing this at scale for everyone and they have like their community photo. You could also use it to create like memes for your community. I touched on this in an earlier use case, but here's a fun one where I took the starter kit and then I actually created a person from this, a Wall Street bro. Look at this guy. As somebody who used to work at JP Morgan, I was this guy. Use case number 17, you can edit images with plain language. I hinted at this earlier, but the biggest unlock here is that Nano Banana essentially replaces Photoshop. There's a trend happening where AI eliminates the need for technical skills. For example, you can build software without coding, and now you can make Photoshop level edits just by typing commands. Speaking of finance bros, here's a photo from me in Colombia. This is the day before I quit my job at JP Morgan. I can transform us to in front of the Burj Khalifa in seconds, and we still look the same. It didn't touch us, it just touched the background, much like if I was doing this in Photoshop. And spoiler, I have no idea how Photoshop works, but now I don't ever have to learn it. And let's keep this Photoshop destruction continuing with use case 18, which is about embedding marketing slogans directly into ads. Nano Banana can take a photo and then superimpose text that aligns with the brand creative. In this case, I have it create a tagline for Liquid Death. And the beauty is that I just upload the image and the text overlay is actually in the style of the Liquid Death can. And the caption, "Murder Your Thirst," beautiful. Bangers. Another dub for the banana. Use case number 19 is all about enhancing photos. You can instantly apply professional grade filters or retouch photos without expensive software or skills. There are a bunch of cool business use cases for this, but for this specific one, I'm gonna focus on a more family related use case. You can dig up any old family photos that are entirely black and white, recolorize them to better visualize what it was like when your parents or your grandparents were growing up. I think it's important that we remember that this technology can improve things and actually make us closer with the people around us. All right, no more emotional use cases. Let's go to generating event posters and flyers for use case number 20. You can create professional event marketing materials in minutes instead of struggling with Canva templates. You can upload event information, prompt it accordingly to actually generate the asset and create a poster both quickly and effectively. And as someone planning for events, there's a lot of just assets that you need, and the quicker you can do it, the easier you're able to stay top of mind leading up to them. And in terms of planning events, use case number 21 is about designing trade show booths and event mockups. Before anyone spends $20,000 on booth fabrication anymore, you can see exactly how your trade show presence will look. And it doesn't have to be something big. This could be at your local farmer's market or a local IRL event that you're planning. Upload your logo and brand assets and then prompt design trade show booth mockup for a tech conference or whatever you're doing, or create an event signage for a startup showcase. And you can instantly see the actual booth that you are creating and what it would look like. This can help you make more confident decisions when you're planning. And when you knock the expo out of the park, you may want to start looking for investors, which is why use case number 22, generate visual investor decks. At IYK, we recently raised $18 million, so I can tell you firsthand how important it is to tell a story. And being able to align imagery to tell your story is needed, but usually requires high-level design and technical skills. So let's just use Nano Banana. Upload your deck outline or existing slides, then prompt it to create visuals to complement these slides. You pass in your brand information and style, and you can imagine this quickly becoming very valuable assets that you can use in this deck. Use case number 23, generate branded backgrounds for Zoom calls. This is a fun one, and you can create custom company branded Zoom backgrounds that are professional looking that everyone at your company or just you can use on your calls. Upload your logo and then brand assets, and then prompt it design branded Zoom background with subtle company elements. At my company, across our entire team, maybe it's worth giving everyone their own custom design, make it fun, but feel the same branding. Consistency helps across the board. Use case 24 is about turning tweets into visual content. Take a screenshot of your tweet, bring it into Nano Banana, and then you can have it create visual graphics that you can then use on things like Instagram. Here's an example where I brought in a tweet that I had about the Ed Sheeran drop that we did and created a Instagram graphic to support this. I could then bring this into my Instagram, post it. I don't have to play around and struggle with Canva or hire somebody to do this, or create something that's generic that looks like it could be on anyone's page. Admittedly, this output could probably use some work, but that's why the speed of Nano Banana is so valuable, because it's very easy to actually iterate and get to a final product that you're happy with. And use case number 25 is about pitching brand partnerships. Let's say you want to collaborate with a lifestyle brand and you're selling gummies. You can import your brand into their product photo shoots to show what a collaboration could look like. I said this earlier, but I love showing, not telling. By doing this, it opens a door for highly individualized outbound sales and marketing. Now, all of these use cases show the power of Nano Banana and what you can do with it. But this is just part of the puzzle. You have to understand how to take these skills and then make money with them. And if you want to learn how to go and do that, click right here where I walk through how I stole Alex Hormozi's $100 million marketing strategy using AI. The content paired there with Nano Banana is pretty crazy. So I'll see you over there. Peace.